and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something I really love, character designs, how to make your own, and some of the best tips that I found from different artists, how to avoid common mistakes and make sure that your character really stands out. There are many tools that you can use to make your character designs, but after doing my research, I found 6 common elements. These are shape, exaggeration, silhouette, palette, story, and focus. When it comes to shape, there are 4 main things we need to understand: shape language, shape motif, proportion, and the difference between organic and geometric shapes. So shape language is the story, emotion, and personality elicited or brought out by a character's shapes, whereas shape motif is the recurring shape or shapes in a character design used to establish their personality. So in character design, we have these 3 main shapes that are used over and over, which are the square, triangle, and circle. And of course you have your other shapes, but any other shapes that you have are going to be pretty much a combination between these 3 primary shapes. So the square is a more masculine shape, the circle is the feminine shape, which is used in female characters a lot, whereas the triangle is a more neutral shape that can be used in male and female characters. We have both positive and negative connotations to these shapes. A square can show that a character is strong, that a character is stable, and that they're maybe intelligent. But on the other side, they could also be boring, stubborn, closed-minded, or not very intelligent. The triangle shows that a character is fast, confident, dynamic. They might be clever, might be fun or playful, like if they have spiky hair. But the character could also be unreliable, cruel, dangerous, reckless, and those are traits shown a lot in villains. So villain characters might have triangles or like a lot of points in their design. A circle can show that a character is kind, that they're optimistic, adaptable, cute. Again, it's a very feminine shape, so it's used a lot in characters like, babies and characters that are just very approachable. But a character could also be lazy, or they could be a coward or naive. So these are some things to keep in mind. When you're using these shapes, you will get a proportion. And the proportion, if it's done right, will give a variety with different body types in the character design. So as you can see here, these are Danny Phantom characters, and some of the characters are very wide, have very wide bodies. Some of them are like slim, some of them have a very big face, some of them have like smaller faces, some of them have tiny feet, some of them have big feet. There's a lot of variety, and that will make your viewers more interested in your characters when they're interacting with each other. Here we have characters from Powerpuff Girls, and you can also, have the characters look different based on their age. Like the girls are little, they're young, so they're going to be shorter than the other characters. But you can also have a shift in expectations. Like the mayor, even though he's really old, he's almost the same size as the girls. So a lot of different heights, a lot of different shapes, different sizes with those shapes, and this keeps things interesting. This is the last character lineup. As you can see, the characters look a little more soft compared to these last two styles of character design, and this is because this style uses more organic shapes, and what that means is like there's like it looks more soft, more round, a little bit more realistic in the sense that it's not flat. And these two styles use a lot of geometric shapes, which has a lot of points, a lot of very straight lines, and it gives it more of a flat 2D look. Next is exaggeration. Exaggeration is used to reveal a character's personality and is made up of an action line as well as the character's expressions. Here are some examples of action lines and character poses. It adds a lot of meaning and clarity to the way that the characters are moving and what that suggests about how they're feeling. And it's very important to make sure that your characters' expressions are readable, and there are, different levels of character expression. You can have something very subtle, very like you're, moderately happy, and you can have something like this where you're like really pushing it, like the character is like super elated, or character has spit coming out of their mouth and their eyes are huge with their pupils dilated to show that they're surprised. Even further, doing things that are just very unrealistic, playing with the eyebrows, adding things around the face, like these lines here usually indicate shock, or sometimes they indicate fear. Making your character's head bigger than the rest of their body, like just super big. And then there's Looney Tunes, where they really push the expressions of a character. When the shapes and exaggerations of a character are combined effectively, it results in a strong silhouette. A good silhouette should be recognizable in the least and iconic at the best. Hopefully, you were able to recognize some, if not all, of these characters. This indicates their strong silhouette design, which clearly and instantly communicates their appeal and personality to the viewers. Next is a character's palette. The palette of professional characters in TV, animated shows, comics, and games will usually have 1 to 3 main colors with supporting colors that are often neutrals, such as black, brown, white, or gray. Here is a color wheel that I found. It just has the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors along with some tints and shades. And this just shows you like how much variety there is with the colors that you have to use. These are a few examples from different shows, if you know them. What I like about this palette is it's just so simple. You look at the characters and you're not trying to figure out where you're supposed to look. You know exactly where you're supposed to look. And what I think helps with that is the almost monochromatic color scheme that they used with these characters. You can clearly see that the main color is red. There's a little bit of yellow highlights, and that's it. The rest is just black, and so it's very simple. This is from Carmen Sandiego, and it also has a bit of a monochromatic kind of scheme. There's a little bit more. The shading, the placement of the shadows looks a little bit more realistic. It gives it a little bit more depth. This is from, Scooby-Doo. This is very flat color scheme, the black lines on the outside of the characters, the black outline really helps to make it look even flatter. Then you have tangled, where there is a bit more depth, and it still has like a level of flatness, but you can definitely see that there's more depth in this color scheme. The lines between character and story are very blurred. You often can't have a story without a character, and you can't usually have a character that does not have a story. This is why it is really important to make sure you have accessories or something on your character. It could be a scar, it could be jewelry, anything, or maybe even their physical appearance, something that connects and relates back to your story. Something that the viewer will look at and ask themselves questions like, how did they get that scar? Why does their clothing look like that? Why is their hair that color? You want to intrigue the viewer and bring them in to prepare them for the story that you're going to tell. There are some characters, such as Hello Kitty and Gudetama, that are made mainly for the aesthetic appeal for products that are made for advertising, but usually the characters will have a story, especially if you're writing a comic or making a character for a show. Your character is going to have a story. The focus will lead the attention of your viewers and will determine what part of the character is most important for your audience to look at. Usually this will be the area of the face, which shows the most immediate personality and connection with the character. So there are a lot of characters with dyed hair or really interesting eyes, because that leads the focus of the viewer to the character's face. Think a lot about what our character's physical features are, what their objects, weapons, accessories are, their outfits, what symbols they will be wearing, and these things should give the readers clues and clarity on what their role is, what their role and position is in the universe, in the story that they live in. This is Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and something very notable about his character design is this big scar on his forehead. Like, I mean, look at it. That's the first thing you look at when you look at him. And then you look at his earrings, which are also play an important role in the story. So he has both accessories and he has a physical trait. Then you have Todoroki from My Hero Academia, and if you've watched the show, you know that his hair is a big giveaway to his powers, which is having fire powers as well as ice powers. And then the scar is part of his story, which is telling of his relationship with his father and the instability with his mother, who gave him the scar. This is Ichigo. The first thing that you look at when you look at Ichigo, like his hair and that ginormous piece of metal right here. The weapon is very important in the show, as you know that he fights all of those monsters. This is Jim Lake Jr. from Troll Hunters. He's been chosen to protect the human world from the trolls. Color is used to add focus to here, like everything, his whole outfit and his color is very neutral. You have black, you have gray, his skin color, and the only color here really that pops is the weapon and the little compass thing, which helps him transform. And sometimes the outfit is the most important. Like with superheroes, the outfit is crucial. The outfit is basically the embodiment of the superhero most of the time, especially in, like, you know, DC and Marvel Comics. And so we look at Gwen and we immediately, like, you just get shocked looking at her. Like, it's amazing. She has all these neon pinks and greens going on. And what I like about this is that you look at her face because of that pink, and the other place you look at is her feet. And when you look at her feet, you notice that she's wearing ballet shoes, which shows she's a very poised, very balanced character, very agile. And her hood might show that she's a little bit jaded, you know, she's a little closed in. So even though you have this great aesthetic, you can also get a little bit of who she is as a person. Then you have Batman and Flash, and they have these symbols which immediately like tell you what kind of person they are and what their superpowers are. And you know, bats, they go in the dark, and so it makes sense because that's basically his story. He's always going around in the dark, always moving around in the dark, and so this symbol makes sense. Flash, he's fast, so that symbol on his chest, that lightning bolt, is very telling of his superpowers. If this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and let me know what challenges you have in character design in the comments down below. Dream big, live bold, and keep on creating. I'll see you all next time. Bye!